Maranatha. Welcome to part 96 of Flipping Tables. And this is November the 23rd, 2025, my man's calendar. And I have some stuff that's been on my mind this evening that I just would love to discuss. It's been on my mind a good bit of the day, I guess, actually. Different aspects, just kind of meditating on stuff. And I just thought I'd talk to y'all about it. Give me just a second and we'll get started. Now, I hope you have come quite prepared this time for quite the ride. I know that last little thing we went on was quite the ride for some of y'all. But witchcraft is going out of the kingdom of heaven forever. We won't be relying on sages and mediums and mystics and such things henceforth. No. No. Mysticism is expressingly forbidden now. I bind it on earth, therefore it is bound in heaven. We will not be doing mysticism anymore because we are going to get back to relying solely on God Himself. That's Jesus. Y'all be doing way too much stuff way out here in left field, bringing stuff into the churches and whatnot. What never meant to be in the temples of God. Anyway, I know I'm going to be making a lot of friends. But anyhow, I just don't think y'all are quite understanding and putting things together about what time frame we really in. I think you're having a real hard time wrapping your minds around it, but I think the Lord's going to help shake things up a bit here in the next little while, and it's going to help y'all see a little more clearly. But before we do all that, let me help you with some Bible scriptures. And before I get into these Bible scriptures, I'd like to explain a little something here. I would like to explain how people's mindsets is. You think because you go to church every Sunday, or maybe 3 times a week, that you got it nailed. Well, honey, I got news for you. If you doing things that's not according to that there Bible, but is according to the world, you ain't got it nailed. Let me explain something to you. Everybody want to blame Adam for the fall in the garden. Y'all got to quit that. I'm dead serious about that. That is not going to float on Judgment Day. Let me just tell you right now. You look at God and you say, well, Adam did this, and God going to strike you with lightning and you be out of His kingdom faster than you can say squat. Don't do that. That's rude. We don't talk about other people on Judgment Day when we come up before the Lord. Now, it is just not proper etiquette. The accuser of the brother will fall. It is written, the accuser of the brother must fall. And if that is your strategy to get through the pearly gates, you might as well say you hell bound and not even try. Just stay at the house. Because that ain't going to get you nowhere. Yeah, I'm plain spoken, honey. Let me tell you. Let me introduce myself. My earthbound name is Crystal. And many people pronounce it Crystal. I don't care either, because that's not, you could pick any, many, money, mo. I don't care. I'll answer to either one, Crystal or Crystal. I don't want to offend people because that's not my name anymore. God gave me a name, a new name. When I went through my thing, my Damascus Road experience, my name is Michael. Now you could call me that too. I'll answer to that too. But don't be belligerent when you do it. Now, do I go around calling you names or using your name like an insult? Don't do it to me. Let's not be rude. I don't like rude. Let me just tell you right now, I don't like rude. Anybody who's rude is going to have to face that. Don't do rude. I don't do rude. Now, I could be your best friend or I could be your worst enemy. That is your choice. But I don't do rude. Now, as I was saying, I think you all are quite confused. See, because Adam did this little thing in the garden where he blamed his wife for everything. And then Eve done this little thing in the garden where she blamed everything on Satan. God don't like that, just so you know. That's why it is written, the accuser of the brother must fall. God doesn't like it when we blame someone else for our sin. No, Adam never made you sin. And you were born into the grace covenant if you were born after Jesus came. And if you were born before Jesus came, dang, you've lived a long time. The Lord has been good to you. What is your excuse for not being good to Him? You should have known this by now then. If you live that long, 2,000 years is a long time to live and not get something. Yes, I'm highly sarcastic in case you haven't noticed. Y'all be making me mad, that's why. With your ignorance. No, I'm not arrogant. I'm tired. I'm fed up with foolishness. It's that you all are rude and y'all are sarcastic. I thought maybe I'd try a little of it on you and see if it'll get through them thick noggins of yous. Let's see if we can get something penetrating them scalps a little bit and see if a thought can get through. Y'all seem to think that if you use this excuse, well, Satan made me do it because he's the tempter and he tempts us to sin, but he's the one who gave you every bad thought you ever had. No, that ain't true. Yeah, Satan will give you bad thoughts. That's true. But he can't read your mind. He don't read your mail, so to speak, as David always said. But anyways, he don't read your mail. He cannot read your heart. Satan does not know your heart. He doesn't know your mind until you let him into it to know it. How do you let him in? Because when he tempts you to do something, if you do it, he knows that's something you enjoy. And he's going to keep coming back and playing on that. So, if you, and it is written in the book of James, I believe it is, to resist the devil and he will flee from you. Resist the devil. That means don't give him place and he'll flee. I was correct. It is in the book of James. It would be James 4:7. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Let's not neglect the first part of that though. Submit yourselves to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. That would be <clears throat> 1 John good bit of advice, but y'all seem to want to separate yourself from the sins that you do by saying the devil made me do it. No, the devil can't make you do it. All he can do is tempt you to it. It is clearly your choice whether you follow through or not. Now, it's clearly up to you. But anyways, we would like to establish this, though, just to get on to the point at hand, which is to help you gain a little more of a timeline of where we at. So we're going to go into Matthew 24. And we're going to look at some stuff. And there's particular things in here we are going to discuss. I asked you to bear with me. When I got up this morning, I had no voice whatsoever. So if it goes out, just be patient with me. Them spiritual attacks come, and sometimes they manifest physically. Anyways, Matthew 24. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. Now, I've started at the beginning of this, but there are certain aspects, when I get to them, I will point them out that I'm actually after. But I wanted to give you a timeline and a time frame. And the only way to do that is to read this from the beginning to give you a general idea of what's about to come off. And Jesus said unto them, See ye, see ye all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And let me just point out that in Jerusalem, part of the second temple, a little piece of the wall is still standing there. You think God's not going to finish that? God always finishes what he starts. Anywho, going on. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? See, because they were expecting him to return one day. And they were asking what the sign would be of his coming, the second coming of the Lord. The return of Christ, the true Messiah. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. There's a lot of deceptions out there right now. They want to teach because of their sages and all this stuff over there in Israel that there is a Messiah born every so many millennial or something to that their degree. And that there is one born every so many years or whatever, and so forth. But you know what? Messiah means anointed. It doesn't mean God. It means anointed one. Yes, Jesus was and is and shall always be the Messiah. Because you can't change what is fact. The truth don't change. And it doesn't matter who you want to appoint or send in. You cannot change who God is. God was from the beginning. He was the creator, not the created. Now, Jesus goes on to tell them, though, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Now, I introduced myself and I told you my name is Christal. That doesn't mean I'm saying I am Christ. For those of you that want to go there, don't make me have to pray fire down on you. I'm smarter than that. Give me some credit, would you? My daddy happened to have named me after the title of Christ. That is why my name is Christal. To explain that out. And like I said, you can call me that or Crystal. I don't fight with you. I don't care, because that's not my name anymore. Jesus changed it when I went through my thing with him, and my name is Michael. Forever, that is my name. Because that's the name that matters. It don't matter what earthly people named us. What matters is what God calls us. Anyways, going on. I'm not trying to deceive anybody. I have no need for that. I intend to go home. And if I'm deceiving you, I won't get to do that. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Just so you know, all these things must come to pass. We have been in this. We have heard a lot of people who actually call themselves Jesus these days. I have seen it come before me more than once. And let me tell you, it took some patience on those days to deal with those particular people. It still does. But we have heard of wars and rumors of wars almost every day for years now. How long did you think we could stay in this, though? We can't stay in this holding pattern forever. We have to move on. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And we have seen that. And we have seen the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light going head to head too. Spiritual battle. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. We have seen a severe uptick in all of that. We have seen earthquakes, big and small, a lot lately. Daily, there's earthquakes somewhere. And there's all kinds of pestilence all over the earth. There's all kinds of famines in a lot of places. And all these are the beginning of sorrows. But we cannot stay in the beginning forever. There comes a time when we have to move forward. Just stating that. That's not written in here. Just stating that. Just explaining that we can't stay in the beginning of something, because you can't get to the end without proceeding past the beginning. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. You need to look up what being afflicted means. Let's just do that. Afflicted. What does afflicted mean? Okay, here's what afflict means. Since this thing's kind of stupid tonight, it doesn't want to read. Of a problem or illness, cause pain or suffering to, affect or trouble. Now, have we not had any of this since 2020? Which means, since we have been offered up to be afflicted, that let me give you an example before I finish that statement. This is an example of afflicted, grievously affected or troubled as by a disease, mentally or physically impaired, so then as to appear afflicted, Paul fell sick and must keep in bed. That's an example of afflicted. Have we seen any affliction since 2020? Which means then that we have moved past the beginning of sorrows. We have moved past the beginning of sorrows. Trying to show y'all something here. Just so you get it. Trying to show y'all a thing or two here just so you get it. Now, with that spoken, excuse me, verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Have y'all been afflicted? Are you being hated for the name's sake of the Lord? If not, clearly you're doing something wrong if you profess that you're standing on His name. If the world is loving you, you better find out why. Because they're not supposed to. What fellowship hath light with darkness? Verse 10. And then shall many be offended. Lord, we see that a lot these days. And shall betray one another. And shall hate one another. You know, and that was going on a lot in 2020. When any churches opened their doors, people would drive around and report people for being at church. They didn't report them for being at the bar. Those were open. And people were allowed to congregate there in mass jams. And they didn't report them for showing up at the bar. but they sure reported it for showing up at church. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Lord, we see that in abundance, honey. Look at all these prosperity preachers and stuff with these big mega churches and all these revivals that ain't even in the name of Jesus breaking out. How can these people get saved when they ain't even hearing the truth? The truth is what sets you free. These people ain't being set free. You ain't saved without being set free. You can't get set free unless Jesus frees you. He whom the Son is set free is free indeed. No, Jesus can't set you free if you ain't where he is. If he ain't invited to church, he ain't gonna be there. If they ain't preaching about him, what saves you in a place where the Savior is not mentioned? Just asking. Trying to make a point here about false prophets. Because they be many. And they shall deceive many. Boy, they are. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Well, honey, if you ain't seen that, what kind of medication you on? What kind of blinders you wearing? Is that prescription? No, I don't want to say it. Thanks, I'm good. I love the truth. Thank God for it every day. It may cause me a great deal of pain emotionally, but I love the truth. And I prefer it to the lie. Because I love Jesus. I want to be with him, not of this world. Anyways, verse 12 again. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Now, because we are getting ever nearer to the part where I really want to hit home, so I'm going to end out of this part because I'm out of time on this particular video. Go into the next one, and we'll pick up at verse 12 again. Because I'm trying to show a timeline here to show you where we are.